Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
Layer styles allow you to apply various effects to a layer's content. You can use several of the predefined styles that are available to you, or you can customize your own. When you apply a layer style to a selected layer, an FX icon, or just an F in versions CS2 and earlier, appears to the right of the layer's name in the Layers panel to indicate that the layer has a style applied. You can double-click the icon to view the individual settings of the layer style, and you can even edit them if needed. To use layer styles, select the layer whose style you wish to edit over in the Layers panel. For now, we'll just use this simple text layer that we've created. From there, choose the Layer Options button, and then choose Blending Options from the pop-up menu that appears. That will launch the Layer Style dialog box. Now you could also select Layer, Layer Style, and Blending Options from the menu bar, and that would also invoke the Layer Style dialog box. This dialog box has many different sections that you can click on at the left side of the box to view the specific settings for that option at the right side. To apply a layer style, click the Styles button at the left side of the dialog box right up here at the top. And to the right, you'll see the various styles that you currently have loaded. You can then click on any one of these preset layer styles to apply them to the selected layer. So you can see over here your text will change as you choose the various styles. If you want to load a different library of preset styles, click the Layer Style Options button in the upper right hand corner of the Styles section, and from that pop-up menu you'll see the different libraries down here. So you could select one of those, like textures, and it will ask you, do you want to replace it or append? You could click either, and you'll see the new choices that you have. Now back at the left, you can also click the Blending Options button right here to view the selected layer's blending options over at the right. Now first, you have the Blend Mode drop-down where you can set the general blending mode of the layer with the pixels. Below that, you can set the opacity of the layer using the slider of the same name right here. In the Advanced Blending section, you can use the Fill Opacity slider right here, and that will adjust the fill opacity. Now, fill opacity affects the pixels painted in a layer and shapes drawn on a layer without affecting the opacity of any layer effects that have been applied. You can then use the Channels checkboxes located right here to include or exclude any channels or colors from the blending options being applied. Typically, blending affects all of the channels in your color model, but you can exclude any channel in your color model here if you so desire. Next, you'll see the drop-down for the knockout options right here. Now, we're going to examine this much more closely when we look at creating what's called clipping groups, but for now, just remember where that option is. Below that, we have several checkboxes that allow us to determine the scope for blending our layers. You can check the Blend Interior Effects as Group checkbox to apply the blending mode of the layer to layer effects that modify opaque pixels. You can check the Blend Clipped Layers as Group to apply the blending mode of the base layer to all of the other layers in a clipping group. We'll examine this also when we work with clipping groups later. Checking the Transparency Shapes layer checkbox will restrict the selected layer effects to only the opaque areas of the layer, not the transparent areas. Checking the Layer Mask Hides Effects checkbox restricts layer effects to the areas defined by the layer mask, restricting the area that it will affect. In a similar vein, checking the Vector Mask Hides Effects checkbox will restrict the layer effects to the area defined by the applied vector mask. Below the checkboxes are two sliders that then allow us to specify the range for blending layers. You can use the sliders to determine which color pixels are dropped or allowed to show through the layer. For example, if you applied a fill layer over a background image, you can first select a color from the Blend If drop down to blend, then use either the This Layer or the Underlying Layer sliders to determine which colors will be blended with the selected layer. Now this can be a way of defining a range of partially blended pixels to transition between a fully blended and an unblended area in the image. After you have specified your blending options for the layer, back at the left you can apply various different layer effects to enhance the layer's appearance. These effects are simply checkboxes that you can check or uncheck to apply the selected styles. If you check on any one of these options, for example, drop shadow, you'll be presented with choices that you have for editing that option over at the right. Once you've applied the layer styles that you prefer here, you just click OK in the upper right hand corner of the layer style dialog box to apply the custom layer style. Now we have a lot of different options over here. Starting on page 21 of the advanced manual, we have all of these style names listed and what the effect is. Some are kind of self-explanatory. For example, drop shadow adds a shadow that falls behind the layer's content onto the contents of the layer below. We have outer glow right here, which adds a glow that seems to emanate from the outside edge of the layer's content. We also have satin right here, which applies a shading to the inside of the layer's content that gives it a satin appearance. So I encourage you to check out page 21 and see what all these different effects are, but they're kind of fun to play with. Once you select a style to add to your layer style above, you simply change the settings to customize and enhance the style. Now also in the manual, starting at the bottom of page 21 and continuing on the next page, is a listing of some of the various layer style setting options that we can change in the layer style dialog box. Just as when we customized our brush tips earlier, we will repeat the same steps as before, checking the style option that we want to edit from the options button at the left side of the dialog box, and then changing the default settings as needed at the right side of the dialog box. So you have various tools that you can use. For example, you have angle here, which determines the angle of light at which the effect is displayed in the image. And you have, of course, things like the sliders, drop downs, and so forth. So check out those pages in the advanced manual to see what those style options and the effects are that take place when you use them. When you're done, then you just click OK, and then your new style will be applied to your layer.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.